I would like to welcome now a great man who's been making a difference all his life. His name is Sanjit Bankeroy. He's the director and founder of the Barefoot College. We will have the honor after his presentation to welcome Minu Tavares Mirabal from the Dominican Republic, who is from the Parliament, Mr. Henri Jombo, who is Minister of Sustainable Development and Forest Economy. And all this will be moderated, I'm sure, with a great talent by Mr. Jérôme Bindet, who's member of Club de Rome. Thank you very much. Mr. Bankeroy, it's all yours. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you an idea of sustainability which started very small, in a very small village in the middle of a desert in Rajasthan 40 years ago. And that idea has spread all over the world within my lifetime. 40 years ago, I went to a small village called Tilonia in the Ajmer district of Rajasthan, where I wanted to implement some progressive ideas. One idea which I wanted to implement was the idea which was already thought of by Mahatma Gandhi, which was try and see how you can develop, identify the capacity and competence of very poor people all over the world, and see how their knowledge and skills and wisdom could be applied. And if that knowledge and skill and wisdom was not enough, then you try and get some knowledge and skills from outside. Very simple, made common sense, but very difficult to implement when I went to the village for the first time. When I went to the village for the first time, they said, "You went to the best school and college in India and you're coming to this village. Are you running from the police?" I said, "No." "You failed in your government job?" I said, "No." "Failed in your exam?" I said, "No." "What are you doing here? What are you doing in this village? Is there something you're not telling us?" I said, "No, I'm actually on my own, voluntarily, wanting to come and live in this village." So then they gave me some very good advice. They said, "Please don't bring anyone with a degree and qualification into your college." So it's the only college in India that if you should have a master's or a PhD, you're disqualified to come. You have to be a dropout or a cop-out or a washout to come to the college, because you have to have worked with your hands. You have to be able to work with common people. You have to be able to work with very poor people and also share the knowledge and skills that you have. So we redefined who is a professional. A professional is someone who has a combination of competence, confidence, and belief. A water diviner is a professional. A traditional midwife is a professional. A traditional bone setter is a professional. These people we respect and honor and use their knowledge and skills for the development of their own community. So, the Barefoot College started 500 miles southwest of Delhi, very small village. It's the village of Tilonia. But it is the only college which is fully solar energized in India. All the power for the college comes from the sun. My 700 lights and fans, my computers, electronic exchange, telephone exchange, photocopying machine, all works off the sun. But the beauty is that the man who installed it is a village priest. Never done more than 8 years of primary schooling. He looks after the temple already, and he has installed 45 kilowatts of panels on the roof. First time ever, repairs, maintains, fabricates, installs. It's also the only college where if you should happen to visit, you will get solar cooked food. That's a solar cooker which gives you 60 meals twice a day. But the beauty is that it was fabricated by women. Now, which is the most powerful way of communication today? Television? No. Telegraph? No. Telephone? No. It's tell a woman. These women today, illiterate, but they have fabricated solar cookers. They can't read and write, but they fabricate the most sophisticated solar cooker which moves with the sun. That clock which you see has been made by an illiterate woman. She's almost half German, unfortunately, because she's so precise. Indian women are not so precise. This demystified, decentralized approach we took all over the world because we felt that this is something that we had to offer. So we went to Afghanistan. I went and I said, look, I don't want to take the men, because, they say men are untrainable. Men are ambitious, men are restless, men are compulsively mobile, and they all want a certificate. And the moment you give a man a certificate, he leaves the village within days looking for a job in a city. So no point training men. So we said we'd like to take a woman from Afghanistan. And they said, impossible getting a woman from Afghanistan. She doesn't come out of a house, and you want to take her to India. I said, I'll make a major concession. I'll take the husband along as well. So the husband came. The first 3 women ever of Afghanistan were trained as solar engineers. Remember, we don't use the written or spoken word. We only use sign language. And through sign language, these women learned about solar energy. They know more about solar energy than any graduate after 5 years of university. Why? Because they work with their hands. These 3 women are the first women ever in Afghanistan to solar electrify 5 villages. That's my star, a 55-year-old grandmother. She can't read and write, but she solar electrified 200 houses for me, and even went to a university in Kabul and taught the head of an engineering department the difference between AC and DC. The guy didn't know. She put up an electronic workshop in Uruzgan, Bamiyan, Faryab, and we said, the cost of taking 3 women and 3 men all the way to Kabul, or from Kabul to India, train them for 6 months, bought 150 panels, solar 5 villages, was the cost of 1 UN consultant sitting for 1 year in Kabul. They couldn't believe it, and the UN wouldn't like to show it, but I said, this is true. You're spending $150,000 and someone sitting on a table in Kabul and not going out of the village. Those 3 women have trained 27 more women for me in Afghanistan and solar electrified 100 villages. What did the Barefoot College do? Just gave a small idea, developed 3 women to be solar engineers, and then they flew with this idea on their own. So out of training 3 women, we have 100 villages solar electrified in Afghanistan and 27 women trained. Went to Africa, 2004. This is what they use in Africa, a small little lamp called by many names in Africa. You spend between $3 and $5 on this. So what did the Barefoot approach do? We went and called the whole village together. We went and asked them, how much are they prepared to pay for solar? And they're prepared to pay what they already pay for candles, torch batteries, diesel, and kerosene. The whole village came together, formed a committee, and agreed to contribute every month to solar if and when it comes. And that committee manages the money. And now here's the success story. They go back and solar electrify their own village. This is a true story about ordinary heroes. This is about very simple rural women in Africa, from Ethiopia to Gambia, from Mauritania to Tanzania, from Sudan to South Africa. A quiet revolution is taking place. Illiterate and semi-literate rural women, most of them grandmothers, who have never left their villages in their lives, are proving the impossible is possible. By their hands-on approach, they are baffling high-powered engineers, universities, donors, development planners, and paper-qualified experts by demonstrating incredible sophisticated technology skills and exposing the fundamental inadequacies of the rigid theoretical formal educational system. Without using the written or spoken word, they have come to India to be trained in 6 months to be solar engineers through the use of the sight and sound, unlike the universities and other urban-based training courses that are all theory and no practice. It is not surprising. These women know more about practical installation, fabrication, repair and maintenance than any paper-qualified certified solar engineer in any university or engineering college in Africa or India after 5 years. After 6 months in India, using only sign language while training, they know no theories of physics, electronics, mathematics. All the women sitting together on one table learn how to assemble charge controllers and inverters, how to establish a rural electronic workshop in small rooms donated by the community, install solar panels on the roofs, connect them to deep cycle batteries. In 2011, the president of Sierra Leone has constructed the first Barefoot Training Center in Contaline in Africa, where now these 12 barefoot women solar engineers will train 150 grandmothers from all over the country. Poor communities in all these countries in Africa have agreed to pay what they now pay for kerosene, candles, wood, torch batteries and diesel. Depending on their economic status, they have agreed to pay between $5 to $10 a month per solar unit. This is a fundamental breakthrough because nothing should be free. 214 solar grandmothers has of today solar electrified 13,000 houses in 186 villages. The first technically and financially self-sufficient solar electrified villages in the whole continent of Africa, indeed the world. On a rare visit to the Barefoot College, when he also spent the night, His Holiness the Dalai Lama blessed the women solar engineers on the 13th of February 2011.
That's secret. So those illiterate villagers, even grandmother, physically also a little bit old and illiterate. Yet, through training, engineer, proud, self-confidence and dignity. Wonderful.
By 2013, by including Liberia, South Africa, Southern Sudan, Zimbabwe, Burundi, Zanzibar, almost all the countries in the continent of Africa will have been covered, saving 1.5 million liters of kerosene from polluting the environment and thousands of tons of wood from being cut, depleting the already fragile forest. The Indian government has approved the proposal to establish 5 barefoot training centers, solar electrify an additional 11,000 houses in 200 more villages spread over the whole continent of Africa.
Sitting in Tinjamban and there's a light of India. We're very happy tonight because it was very, very dark in Tinjamban before.
There is no question. The barefoot approach is here to stay. What Mahatma Gandhi said comes to mind. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win.